either for saying no to helping my wife after she asked for a divorce. I never thought I'd be asking strangers this question, but here I am. My wife is 28, I'm 39, and she has made one thing painfully clear over and over again. She doesn't want a separation, she wants a divorce. Period. She's also been very firm about setting boundaries between us, emotionally and practically. So when she recently asked me to call her bank and her car dealership to fix an issue with her auto loan and lien paperwork, I froze. She's currently overseas with the army in Europe. She turned off her US phone plan and she said it would be easier if I handled it for her. And maybe it would be easier, but something about it didn't sit right with me. We're not together anymore. We're ending a marriage. Making calls about her banking and car loan felt like a husband responsibility, like stepping right back into a caretaker role I'm trying to step out of. It felt like crossing a line I didn't even know how to explain yet. So I told her the truth, calmly, honestly. I don't feel comfortable doing that. She didn't take it well. She said things like, "You can't even make a simple call to help me save money. Your help is always based on what you can get out of it. Fine, I'll just figure out my life on my own." And that's the part that got under my skin. Not because I wanted praise, not because I was being spiteful. I wouldn't care at all if she asked friends or family for help. I just don't want to stay stuck in this fixer, provider, emotional support role for someone who's made it clear they don't want me as a partner anymore. I ended the conversation without arguing. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. But afterward, I couldn't stop thinking, am I being selfish, or am I finally setting a boundary that should have existed a long time ago? Before anything else, I need to say this clearly. I made serious mistakes. I'm not proud of them. I own them. This isn't me trying to dodge responsibility. This is me finally telling the entire story instead of isolated pieces. I met her on Facebook dating. I was about 36 at the time and intentionally looking for someone mature enough to build a family with. Her profile listed her as older than she actually was. I didn't find out until later. I wasn't seeking someone young, but we connected, and I kept talking to her. At that point in my life, I was barely holding it together. I was coming out of a breakup. I was grieving my father's death. I was working 2 jobs. I was emotionally exhausted, lonely, and overwhelmed. When she talked about wanting kids and a future, it lined up with what I wanted. And things moved fast. Too fast. Early on, there were boundary issues. One of the first red flags happened when I took a nap and woke up to find she had gone through my phone, reading old messages from before I even knew her, and mocking me for my past. I told her plainly, that crossed a line. She didn't apologize. She got defensive. That was the first moment I realized respect wasn't mutual. As time went on, it didn't get better. I was constantly working, drained, and trying to survive. Instead of support, I was often talked down to. Comments about my age, my income, my cleanliness, and comparisons to men she dated who had more money or status. I told her repeatedly how much that hurt me. It didn't stop. And here's where I own my part. I didn't handle it well. I swallowed everything instead of walking away. I became reactive. At one point, I punched a wall, not at her, but that moment alone should have told me I needed to leave the relationship, not push through. Then she got pregnant. I felt trapped between wanting to do the right thing and knowing deep down that the relationship was already unstable. I stayed when I should have been honest and walked away. Eventually, I cheated. That was wrong. Full stop. No excuses. It didn't come from confidence or happiness. It came from resentment, avoidance, and not having the courage to end something that was already broken. Things escalated further. During an argument, I put my hands on her. That was not okay. I take full responsibility for that. While I was in jail, she went through my phone again, discovered the cheating, and that same night she slept with her ex. After that, she continued seeing other men. And yet, I was labeled as the only betrayer. Any attempt to talk about mutual accountability was shut down. I was told I was playing the victim. Reconciliation became impossible when responsibility only flowed one way. I'm not sharing this to attack her or erase my own wrongdoing. I'm sharing it because this relationship was unhealthy long before the worst moments, and because I failed to leave when I should have. What I regret most isn't just what I did. It's not choosing honesty sooner. It's not walking away earlier. It's letting something toxic escalate instead of ending it when it first showed me who it was. Early on, I learned that her visa had expired and she didn't have permanent legal status. She never pressured me about it. It wasn't transactional. At that time, I was grieving my father, my home was in chaos, and I was barely functioning. She helped me, emotionally, around the house, and I felt genuinely grateful. Out of love, appreciation, and the belief that we were building a family, I married her. But looking back, I see that I also expected respect, appreciation, and emotional consideration in return. When that didn't happen, resentment quietly took root. After our child was born, things became more volatile. She may have been dealing with postpartum stress, financial frustration, and anger toward me for not handling budgeting and long-term planning the way she wanted. Instead of working together, conflict became the default. There were repeated issues with neighbors over our dog barking. I tried to de-escalate. She believed confrontation was the answer. Arguments escalated. Police were called, more than once, because of confrontations she initiated. Inside the house, things deteriorated further. I was mocked, called names, and constantly torn down, especially about my infidelity. When I pointed out that she was also seeing other people, I was told I was playing the victim. The worst part? All of this happened in front of our 2-year-old. That environment was loud, volatile, and emotionally unsafe. I admit I crossed lines too. I became verbally abusive under pressure. I regret that deeply. It was wrong, no matter the circumstances. Eventually, she decided she wanted to leave and start over. She joined the army to create distance and independence. At that point, she wasn't working, and I was covering all household expenses, while still being treated with contempt. I'm not claiming innocence. I'm saying the situation became mutually damaging, unsustainable, and corrosive long before it finally ended. What could have been an early, clean separation turned into years of harm because I didn't leave when I should have. So now I'm here, trying to do one thing differently. Set a boundary. And I honestly don't know if that makes me an asshole, or just someone finally choosing to stop repeating the same mistakes. Am I the Jew?